When people talk about the fall of Rome, they usually point to invading tribes, corrupt emperors, or civil wars. But what if I told you that one of the deadliest forces behind Rome's collapse wasn't a sword or a siege, it was a coin? Rome didn't just fall from military defeat. It fell because its money stopped meaning anything. And if you think that lesson doesn't apply today, think again. At the height of its power, Rome's economy ran on trust and silver. The backbone of that system was the denarius, a silver coin first minted around 200 BC. It was nearly pure silver. It had real, intrinsic value. Roman soldiers were paid in it. Merchants accepted it across continents. And ordinary citizens saved it, knowing that silver meant stability. The denarius wasn't just a medium of exchange. It was a promise, backed by the empire's power, economy, and military might. But as the empire grew, so did its expenses. Defending thousands of miles of borders, feeding cities, building monuments, and funding endless wars, all of it cost more than Rome could bring in through taxes. So emperors turned to an ancient trick. If you don't have enough silver, fake it. Early emperors like Augustus kept the denarius nearly 95% silver. But by the 3rd century, under emperors like Gallienus, the silver content had dropped below 5%. The coins looked the same. But they felt lighter, looked duller, and were worth far less. Rome had begun debasement, diluting the value of its currency while pretending nothing had changed. Sound familiar? As silver disappeared from coins, prices soared. A loaf of bread that once cost a single denarius began costing dozens. Soldiers demanded higher pay. Merchants refused the debased coins altogether. Some towns abandoned currency completely and went back to barter. It wasn't just inflation. It was monetary collapse. And the damage ran deeper than economics, it eroded trust. People no longer trusted the coins in their hands. They stopped trusting the empire behind them. By the 3rd century, Rome spiraled into chaos. Historians call it the crisis of the 3rd century. Dozens of emperors rose and fell, many ruling for less than a year. Civil war was constant. Plagues devastated cities. And the economy? In free fall. Desperate to fix it, Emperor Diocletian tried to freeze prices by law. He passed the edict on maximum prices in 301 AD, trying to set limits on wages and goods. It was a disaster. Markets went black. Trade collapsed. The people learned fast. You can't legislate value when your money is broken. Eventually, the denarius was abandoned entirely. In 312 AD, Emperor Constantine introduced a new coin, the solidus. It was made of pure gold, and it worked, for a while. In the East, the Byzantine Empire used it for centuries. But for the Western Roman Empire, it was already too late. A broken currency had hollowed out the empire from within. Trade was shattered. Tax collection failed. And without money, the legions couldn't be paid. An empire that couldn't pay its soldiers couldn't survive. Now fast forward. Germany, 1923, to pay war reparations, the Weimar government printed paper marks by the billions. A loaf of bread went from 1 mark to 200 billion in just a few years. Zimbabwe, 2008, inflation reached over 89 sextillion%. People were trillionaires, and couldn't buy lunch. Venezuela, Turkey, Argentina, the pattern continues. In every case, governments debased their money, not with silver, but with ink and empty promises. And in every case, ordinary people paid the price. In 1971, the US abandoned the gold standard. The dollar became a fiat currency, backed by nothing but trust. Since then, we've seen exploding national debts, trillions in printed stimulus, persistent inflation, and a steady erosion of purchasing power. Governments assure us, it's under control. But so did Rome. Debasement always starts as a short-term fix. It always ends with a long-term crisis. So what does Rome teach us today? 1. Money is only valuable if people trust it. Once that trust is broken, collapse isn't just possible, it's inevitable. 2. You can't print prosperity. Rome couldn't, Germany couldn't, Zimbabwe couldn't, and no modern government will either. 3. Real wealth isn't found in paper or coins. It's found in real assets, land, productive businesses, skills, commodities. Rome didn't fall overnight. It rotted slowly, coin by coin, lie by lie, until it could no longer hold itself together. When money collapses, so does everything built on top of it: trade, armies, governments, even civilizations. Rome learned that lesson the hard way. If this gave you a new perspective, hit subscribe, because history doesn't repeat, but it rhymes. And if you understand the past, you might just survive the future.